All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kudarie, aka Positive PABLO. We're here for the next episode of AMP, where art meets philosophy. And I'm here today with Dante, aka
Aliguudmon.
All right. And today we're here on the UCF campus to discuss this piece. Oh, man. Westcoast Woodstock. All right. Summer of Love, Woodstock, 1969. That was actually the first Woodstock from 1969. We have TDE, Top Dog Entertainment,
Yes,
four powerhouse hip hop artists. Why these guys? Why this group?
TDE speaks to me. I remember I first hopped on Kendrick in like '09.
Okay.
Didn't even know I knew who J-Rock was from some of his radio hits.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of got introduced to Schoolboy and Ab Soul, and it was just like the way they fit together, their individual tracks, all of it is just really relatable. Just for these guys to be in hip hop in the era that it's in, it's something about it that's like different, you know? And it's I don't know, it's refreshing. And yet they're still putting out truth. I don't care how much you pay me or how much you take away from me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. And I love that.
Right. They are black hippie. The 70s vibe, you know, going into that. Why put the flip on that of all events to, you know, correlate with the group?
And I've always thought Woodstock was dope. So it was just like, what don't I know about Woodstock? And how do these guys fit into it? Because they say that they're black hippies.
The original Woodstock poster was, you know, guitar, and it has a bird on it, and it was talking about peace and music. And a lot of them, despite whatever their backgrounds are, as far as, you know, whatever kind of the upbringing was, whether they had setbacks, whether they were from a city with a lot of turbulent times and violence, and there was a lot of injustice and things that were going on, they were able to take that and mold it via the craft of hip-hop and words and lyricism and production, and to be able to put that out into the world as a means of benefit for those, you know, something that's good for the listeners, and to kind of really just to be able to grow as artists, to help people grow as individuals.
Their whole message, their whole vibe, the way they go about things is Woodstock to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, peace and music. It's like, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you love, I'm giving you truth. I'm spreading peace, not for my benefit, because I know it's better for all of us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, when I think Kendrick, when I think J-Rock, Schoolboy Q, and Ab Soul, whether together or separate, if you bring those guys up to me, I automatically think honesty, peace, love, and music.
Okay.
So it's like, how do they not fit into Woodstock was the question I was trying to figure out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's unique. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily what you would see on a day-to-day basis, as far as somebody putting, you know, pencil or pen or crayon or whatever the case to a piece of paper. But, you know, you chose this outlet. So what's some background? What can people get from, you know, being able to express yourself in your own way?
Okay. Well, first, I appreciate that. It's like, I don't mean to be creative.
Okay.
But when I'm listening to music, whether it be TDE or whether it's like any of my other favorite artists, my brain just like is constantly like analyzing it, and I can't help it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of all these different images, and I'm trying to figure out how can I make it into a piece of art that other people can relate to and understand. So when they hear that lyric, they think that image, and they're like, all right, that's dope. Like, and it all connects. So it's really just day-to-day listening to music.
Right.
Whatever comes out of my head onto the computer is what comes out.
I think that's kind of a lot of what life is. Really, is taking. We're all a sum of the influences that whether we recognize them or realize them or not. So, I mean, you're just always an influence of influences, so we're just spreading. We're all kind of, we're all ripples in the tide.
Exactly.
Pretty
we're
much.
all
It's
made
like,
by what we listen to, what we go through.
right.
Whatever, like, these guys are putting things out, and I'm just, like, taking it and just using it to put more things out, so somebody else can take it and put something new out, so the cycle just continues and grows.
So you would say that these people, not only have they given you influence, they've given you...
They've given me purpose.
Okay.
They've given me confidence. More than anything, they've freed my mind and my soul to be like me.
Okay.
And to not be afraid to be me and say things how I say it, and speak my little slang and walk the way I walk, listen to music I do, and like speak to people, and like just be the person I am.
Right.
I know growing up, a lot of times I was always like teacher's pet.
Okay.
People thought that was so like not cool, and I'm like, y'all.
That was the thing back then.
Yeah, like, y'all know how much I get out of just being a good person, like.
Right.
It makes no
That's
sense.
fulfilling in itself, just to be a good person.
Exactly.
Just it's cool to be smart. And at some point in time, a lot of people, I think that was it was kind of like pulling the rug from under some people. It's like, man, I'm really smart. I have all these talents and abilities, but the people around me, maybe they don't express themselves in the same manner, so they kind of tear you down, or you want to blend in with those who aren't like you in a certain sense. So it's kind of figuring that out, but that's being given a lot.
Yeah.
And would you say that that is what the purpose of your art is, to give to others?
Or like my main purpose behind doing art and wanting to like release it and put it out is so that I can bring attention to my story, so that people can see it, understand it, and they can relate it back to their story and see that, all right, you know, I grew up doing this and I thought it was so dope, but it got overlooked because my friends were like not so into it, or whoever was around me was not so into it. But you know what, like he's doing it and he thinks he's dope regardless of what anyone else thinks. So let me just go in and do what I do. More than anything, I want to inspire others to just do what they do. And when you're able to accept that and put that out, like you'll come across so many opportunities. You'll come across so many other dope people, and it's just like everything will seem to work out for the better.
Right.
And I just want people to live more fulfilled lives, to where they're not focused on stress and
absolutely
and things, because it's like that's a killer.
Life isn't meant to be stressed over. I mean, everybody has their struggles in the same sense that these people can take their struggle and then turn that back into something else. But we all have obstacles. We all have difficulties. We all have our own hurdles to jump over, our own mountains to climb. But at the same time, it's so fulfilling when you're able to get over those.
Of course.
It's kind of like the only thing that's going to be constant is change.
Oh, yeah.
And if change is always going to happen, then you're always going to have your highs. And if you have your highs, then you're going to have your lows. So if there's nothing that you can do to change what is going to be, then you just have to be able to handle what is.
Stress was, I don't know why, I would get so stressed over things. And as I've come to like be more myself and be accepting of myself and have more confidence in myself, I find way less stress.
It's funny how that relates to that, because in the same sense of when you think of, you know, being able to relieve stress and accepting yourself, that kind of falls back into, I mean, the whole Woodstock thing. This is mood stock, so it kind of falls into being able to improve your mood. You know, being able to handle yourself and be able to express yourself and accept yourself freely, as everybody should. Everyone should be able to love themselves.
Exactly.
I think we would have a different kind of world if people were to just accept themselves, because the more you can accept yourself, the more that you can accept others, because the more you look into you, the more you find similarities and so many things within, you know what I mean, from you to another person. But what would you think that your art's voice is?
Good question. For me, I want everybody, I feel like life would be easier if everybody just understood everybody else's perspective.
Right.
And understood that there are different perspectives. So the way I look at a situation is different than the way you look at a situation. And that doesn't mean that our facts, like the facts that I have are wrong and the facts that you have are wrong. But the way I was brought up, the things I've seen, the way you're brought up, the things you've seen cause us to be different. And that's fine. The main thing we need to do is figure out like how they relate and how they contrast.
Okay.
And so that we can better understand ourselves. If we just take it back to being so simple as understanding for understanding, so that I can relate to you, so that we can be better. And if like we just take it back to that, life would be so much easier. It's like that's what these guys are doing. Like Kendrick's perspective is completely different from Schoolboy's. They come from different places. They've been through different things. They're not the exact same person.
Right.
But they understand each other's perspective. They're able to like make dope music and speak on all of it at the same time on one track, and it's like it all fits. It shows how the different perspectives can fit together. And I think too, one thing I really like is they show the different variations of being a black male.
Right.
I love that, like, because like it's not like one story. It's not one.
It breaks the stereotype. You can't just put them all into the same box of you're from here, you're this. If you fit these three categories, then this is all you are.
They completely break the mold, and it makes it easier for everybody coming from not only where they're from, but situations like theirs from in other places around the world. Now they have that confidence and that being to say like, I'm dope, I'm talented. I don't have to worry about being labeled. For me, it gives me confidence to do that.
Right.
And break my own mold that I put on myself sometimes.
Or kind of putting people on the pedestal who are speaking for us when we don't have a voice, or they're necessarily speaking the words that we have in mind that we just haven't really been able to find the words to express.
Of course.
But they feel us.
Everything they do is dope. So it's like, another thing that I feel is crazy is that they're like, people compare them to NWA all the time.
Right.
I mean, granted, from the West Coast.
New Age NWA,
a
right.
group of male rappers. But it's like, they do it so different than NWA. I'm not coming from a crazy spotlight.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
it's an evolution of the movement.
Exactly.
That's what I think it is. And in the same sense of that they're doing it, they've taken that influence and they're kind of just like seeds of that, and then they've grown into symbols of positivity. And it's okay to be smart and to have a great vocabulary.
Exactly.
It's okay to to express yourself in whatever means that is. And it's okay to take whatever vibrations you feel from the world and
put it out there. Yeah, it's crazy. With like everything that goes on today, so many like different controversial just situations from different backgrounds, different races, different cultures, everything that's going on. Music seems to be a easy way to get people to connect. And just like Woodstock did in 1969 and the years following, they're doing that on the daily. There's a bunch of other artists who do it as well.
Right.
It's just that this is what resonated in my mind at the moment. So I decided to go in on it.
Everything is about connections as far as whatever level you connect with what is. So in the same sense that these people are, music is universal, love is universal, energies are universal.
But it's like the energy just comes back. And the more you show love, the more people will show love. And it doesn't even have to be the people you're showing love to on the daily. It's just the fact that you're showing this person love, that's causing a chain reaction to later.
You never know the impact of paying it forward. Because you doing something good for somebody today, they may not do something good that same day or maybe that next week, but at some point in time, that has made an impact on them. And sometimes it just has to continue to build up. Like, maybe it's not the first thing, and maybe it's not the second thing, but if you keep knocking away at it, keep chipping away at it, eventually you'll make a difference.
Exactly.
You eventually promote so much good onto people, others, and, throughout your life, eventually it's going to break through to that person.
I agree. That's definitely true.
All right.
I think you realize once you dig into yourself and find who you are and start to accept that, you realize everybody's weird. There's no normal. Like, we're all weird.
Right.
Like, and that's what I love about these guys. Like, I saw Kendrick perform one of his untitled tracks. He had like half his braids done, the other half was just like out and wild.
Right.
Some people are like, that's stupid. But I'm like, y'all don't see how dope that is? Like, he's so confident, so accepting of himself. He can walk on stage like that.
Absolutely.
Spit what he's spitting, and people are like...
I think confidence is a catalyst to fulfillment, because if you really feel whatever it is that you're doing, I feel like that touches the depth of you as a person, and then you're able to share that, or you're just willing to embrace that as a person, then really, I mean, you kind of figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
And what else is there to really life, you know what I mean? Than to experience it to the furthest of your ability.
Yeah, it's like a driving force. If you have it, you wake up and you have good days.
Right.
I found when I'm confident, I wake up and I won't always be the most confident or the like feeling the best. But sometimes I realize like I've been worse off.
Right.
Like not like I'm dope. Like what am I tripping on? Like I'm gonna make it through this day just like I make it through any other. Stress becomes like little to none. And when it is there, you realize like it's so easy to manage because like I can't change who I am. So once I accept who I am, like, what do I have to worry about? Like, there's going to be people who are opposed to things that you do and the way you go about things or the way you express yourself.
Right.
But you can't be fulfilled by the thoughts of others.
You can't.
Like when you die and you go in your grave, like it's on you.
Right.
So as long as you live a fulfilled life for you and the ones who love you, then like who can tell you that you weren't successful?
Everyone's going to have their own opinion, and everyone's going to choose for whatever foundation or basis of how they want to live their lives. That is totally up to them, because we each have, but one life to live, here. So we have to just choose whatever that may be.